Hello, hello, and welcome to another episode of the Real Talk Journeys of Resilience and Success. And today we are on episode 75. So the topic is From Survival to Legacy, how Sushanna turned fear into freedom. And our guest today is Sushanna Malcolm-Gooden. So she will be with us in a few minutes. But before we dive into our topic, let me introduce myself. So, hello everyone. My name is Sandy. I'm originally from Panama, but currently residing in Surrey, British Columbia, Canada. I also work in the movie industry, and I'm a proud digital business owner and mentor. So, we want to also remind you that every Tuesdays and every Thursdays we have our live webinar. So, if you want to learn how you can start your online business and start earning online, all you have to do is register into my website that appears on the screen with your name and email address, and we'll send you that invitation to watch the webinar, which we happen to have one tonight. So it's every Tuesdays and Thursdays, 5 p.m. PST and 7 p.m. CST and 8 p.m. EST. Um, so when you register into our website, you will receive an email that will contain two links. So the first one is to register to the live webinar. That one will take you to a page that will have two buttons, one for Tuesday, one for Thursday. So you can register for either one or for both. The second link that you get there is the link to the replay of the live webinar. So just in case you cannot attend to the live webinar, that's not a problem. You can always catch the replay and watch it from the comfort of your own home. In addition to that, we also invite you to our private Facebook group where you get to see more success stories from members of our community and more information about the business. Now, you're probably wondering, okay, so what is it that you're going to find out on the webinar? So, on the webinar, you're going to find out how our online business plan works, and also you get to hear from the panelists, which are members of our community, who will be sharing with you why they decided to start their online business and how this online business has transformed their lives. So, let's find out who are the hosts and panelists for tonight's live webinar. Okay, so on tonight's live webinar, we have Kirti and Aish, biochemists and portfolio managers. So they are going to be the hosts for tonight's live webinar. And our first panelist is going to be Vera. She's a formerly healthcare worker, so no longer working and just focusing on the business. We also have Adeola. She's a research and development. Binju, she's a program manager. We have Alona, a former nursing assistant. We have Shamindri, a medical administration officer. We have Akpiwi, a pharmacist. And we have Anne, a sales and marketing executive. So as you see, we have all different walks of life, different ages, different ethnicity, but they all have something in common, and that is, they took that leap of faith to change their life and their family's life. So if you're catching tonight's live webinar, our live webinar has subtitles in 5 languages: the Spanish, French, Tagalog, Vietnamese, and Arabic. And our replays, if you cannot make it, that's not a problem. You can always catch the replay and watch it from the comfort of your own home. And our replays have subtitles in several languages. So there you go. So those are going to be the hosts and panelists for tonight's live webinar, which is going to be in 40 minutes. So yeah, it's going to start in 40 minutes. So there you go. So if you want to learn how you can start your online or start your own online business, all you have to do is just register into that website. Okay, so let's dive into our topic for today. So like we mentioned, we are on episode 75 for the Real Talk Journeys of Resilience and Success. So today our guest is Sushanna Malcolm-Gooden. And our topic for today is From Survival to Legacy. So how Sushanna turned fear into freedom. So before I bring my guest in, let me introduce her to you guys. So I'm so excited to welcome today's amazing guest, Sushanna. She's originally from Jamaica and now living in Manitoba, Canada. So Sushanna is a devoted mom, loving wife, and a proud digital business owner. After working in retail for over 8 years, facing long hours and late nights, while barely making ends meet, she knew there had to be more to life. So she took a leap of faith and started her own online business and began building a life with time, freedom, and income on her own terms. Her journeys prove that when you decide to take action, everything can change. So get ready to be inspired by her story of courage and transformation. I can't wait to hear her story. So let's bring Sushanna to the studio. Hi, Sushanna. Thank you for
Hello,
coming.
Sandy. Thanks for having me here.
So I know I did a little bit of introduction about you, but is there anything else that you wanna maybe add to it so that people get to know you a little bit more?
Not really. You said it all. Yeah.
Okay. We do have a comment here from Antoinette Riley. He say, "Hi guys, thank you for your comment. Thank you for watching." Also from Suzette Murray. "Hello, ladies. Thank you
Hello.
for your comment. Hello, hello, Suzette." Okay, so let's dive into the questions. Okay. All right. So the first question for you, Sushana, you have shared how the fear of staying stuck was stronger than the fear of starting something new. So can you take us back to that moment when you decided to say yes despite the uncertainty, and what gave you the courage to take that leap? Because a lot of people, will relate to your story because they will feel in that same position. So what made you, to decide to say yes and take on this journey?
Hello, guys. Thanks for joining us and thanks for having me here, Sandy. I really appreciate your time. So, first, I first learned about this business back in 2018 after giving birth to my daughter. But I was skeptical, right, about it because I think that online was mainly for robbing people. But later learned that it wasn't like that. Fast forward to 6 years later, I was still juggling multiple jobs and I was still falling behind with my bills. And also, the person who had told me about this business was doing exceptionally well in it, right? So I decided that, you know what, I have to try something new, right? And I have reached a point in my life where I said enough was enough, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I had to do um, something that would give me the freedom and flexibility that I am looking for, right? So that's the reason why I give it a try, right? And here am I, a year later. The only regrets I would say that I have is not starting it sooner. But I think nothing happens before the time, and also you have to wait until God's timing.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. um yeah, I think I do relate to you because like many times we saw the opportunity but we were not ready at that
Yes.
moment to see
Yes.
it. So now you are. I think if you would have taken that time, you might not know what would work for you because you didn't were not in the right mindset to
Right.
see it. But now you're on the right mindset to see it. So that's why, like even with fears and scare, you decided to take it, but because you knew that you needed to change your life. Otherwise, if you remain the same, nothing was going to change. So yeah, and I think a lot of people will relate to your story because many people, they work 2 to 3 jobs to be able, to provide for their family. So, but many times, because of that, you are not being able to spend with your kids, and you're missing those milestones. So this online business opportunity will allow you to start building this business on the side while you continue to have in your job. But eventually, this plan B that you start on the side will help you to surpass your income. And then at that time, if you decided to quit your job, you can quit your job. Like we have so many job quitters in our community that they started this, and many they started just thinking, oh, I'm just gonna do like a couple of like 500 or $1,000, but when they came in inside, they realized, the scalability of the business.
Yes.
And that's why, today they're able to leave their jobs and then just focusing on the business and be fully present for their kids, and not missing any milestone. So thank you for sharing that. We do also have a comment here from Alcia Beach. She say, "Hi ladies, Hi, Alcia. Thank you for your comment. Thank you for watching. Um, okay, so let's dive in into the second question. Hold on. All right. So, second question for you. So, you mentioned it shifting your mindset from just surviving to building a legacy. So, what were some of the key changes in how you thought about success and your future that helped you stay resilient in the early days of your business?
To be honest, I have to first understand that success is not a destination, it's a daily decision. And I do this by showing up, being consistent, showing up for my business on a daily basis, no matter what. And to know that I'm building a legacy, not just working to continue paying bills. And that
Yeah.
has helped me in the to think long term and to push myself harder and not just to think of this business as something to hustle with, right? Because I I have to think about my why, which is my family, my future, and the freedom that this business offers. And as you have stated earlier, that I am from Jamaica, I have crossed lots of oceans to come here in Canada for a better life. And
Yes.
as such, I am willing to make it happen by all means. Because to be honest, when I compare the weather back home in Jamaica versus here, the winter periods here are very harsh. We
Yeah.
have like a plus 32 in Jamaica. When compared to Canada, it's like a minus 40, minus 50 in some areas, right? And I give up that weather, right? Just to be in a cooler country for a better life, for my, not just for myself, but for my family on a whole, whether those that are here or even back home.
Yes. Yeah, I totally relate to your story because I'm also an immigrant and I came here to Canada same. Actually I came during, I don't know when in what months you came, but I came in summertime. It was supposed to be summertime, like but like Jamaican Panama is super hot.
Yes.
So even though I remember like it was like yesterday, it was like June and I it was supposed to be hot. People were driving, without t-shirt, and the ones that doesn't have the roof, like on a jeep, without the
Yes.
roof. And we were with like like Eskimo jacket, winter jackets, because we were freezing. That's how like the huge difference, even though for Canadians, June is like very hot. That wasn't hot for us, it was like cold, so yeah, it's a sacrifice, like you mentioned, we made, as immigrants moving into a new country,
Yes.
for looking for a better life. So if you already have that mindset of changing your life, and now you were in a situation where you say 2018, you were still thinking, was like a scam, and that's why you didn't
Yes.
join. But year pass, and then your perspective changed, because you say, well, if I continue being like that, nothing's going to change. So you have to shift your mindset, and like you mentioned, like if I made a big move, you know from Jamaica to Canada, why I cannot make the same, and change my life for better, so yeah, so it's we have sometimes, balance, what is important. If we remain in the same place, is it gonna still be the same for the following years? Or if we make a change, we're gonna have a better life. So you have to balance, what is important, like, and like I always say, two of the things that for me is important, and I think for a lot of people, is your family and your health. And those two things sometimes we neglect because we focus on making money to provide, but then we forget about, spending those moments with your loved ones, living the present time, because always thinking about the future, but we forget about the present. And also we forget about taking care about ourselves, the health. And yeah, we gotta pay attention to that. So I do relate to your story when you mentioned about the weather and being an immigrant, because same here, you know. When I came to Canada, I wasn't actually living here in Vancouver, which is warmer weather compared to the other provinces. I went to Montreal, so
Oh,
that was cold too. Yeah, and the winter is longer. That's why we moved to back to Vancouver, because it's better weather than, the east side. But yeah, so I do relate to your story. So we do have more comments here from Claudia Gordon. She say hello, ladies. Hello, Claudia. Thank you for your comment. We also have from Romaine Food Digital. So good evening to all. Thank you, Romaine. And we also have from Camille Spooner. Good evening. Good
hello.
evening, Camille. Thank you. And we also have from Romaine Food Digital. So true, as you say about what you shared. And also Renee Nicole. Good evening, ladies. Thank you, Renee. Thank you for your comment. Yeah, so yeah, I think many times we have to reflect in our lives, and see, that we need to make changes, like in my case, 5 years prior. So kind of like you probably you saw it. You were thinking it was a scam. Me, I didn't know. I saw those digital nomads on YouTube, and I said, I want that kind of lifestyle, but I didn't know how to.
Right.
So I kept working for 5 more years, and then there was a setback in my industry in 2023 that forced me to look into something. So for other people, that will be like a setback, something negative. But for
Yeah.
me, it turned out to be a blessing, because of that, I was able to find this online business opportunity, which is something that I was looking for 5 years ago. Yeah, because like you work, and you have to think about, like spending time. For example, you are spending time with your loved ones. In my case, I have my aging parents, so I wanted to be able to spend time with them, and I wanted to be able to be there when they need me. My hours didn't allow me to do that, because I was working 12 hours per day, 5 days a week. So that wouldn't be possible. And I also wanted to retire early. I guess you want to retire early.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, because the thing is, like, once we taste this on the inside, we don't want to go back.
No.
Yeah, so that's why we keep going and pursuing what we want, because we want to get to that point, because there's proof. We already have a blueprint already done, and it's a proven system. So there's so many results. We also have a comment here from Patrine Burrell. So she say, good evening. Good evening, Patrina. Thank you for your comment. Um, yeah. Oh, Suzanne Morris say, me too. I guess she wants to retire early too. Okay. So let's go to the next question. Okay. So balancing family, work, and building a business can be overwhelming. So, what daily habit or small practice has helped you stay consistent and grounded while working toward your goals?
Hmm. I start my day with purpose, waking up each morning and just giving God thanks to see another day, right?
Mhm.
Reminding myself of my why every single day. It keeps me focused and stop me from feeling overwhelmed. And as you said earlier, progress is still progress. Even if it's small wins, it matters.
Yeah.
Like for me, having someone inquiring about the business, I celebrate that, right? And also it has put me, given me the freedom to spend more time with my family and to just relax and stay grounded, right? And also spending time with my daughter, as I said before. And I look forward, like every night going to bed, I visualize the life that I'm building, right? I picture myself retiring early and having the time and the freedom that that will fuel me in the long run.
Mhm. Thank you so
Thank you
much
so much.
Okay, so we do have a comment before we go into that. From Romaine. She also say, yeah, and retire stress free. Yes, I totally agree. Yeah. Yeah, you mentioned a lot of things about, and the mindset. If we go back to the previous question about the mindset, like you really have to have the right mindset of understanding, there is a process, okay,
Yeah.
about enjoying your journey. Like you mentioned, every small step that you do, it moves you forward to where you want to get. Instead of, trying to reach. And I think like one of the mistakes we do at the beginning, as a new entrepreneur, is that we are so used to, I guess, to get results fast.
Yes.
But it doesn't happen that way.
Yeah.
Okay. It takes time to build it. It's kind
Right.
of like a seed you planted, and it goes, it starts growing. So the same thing. So but once you understand that it takes a process to take from point A to point B, and you start enjoying the journey and celebrating those small moments, like you mentioned, that really it push and move your business forward, because you're not concentrating on the long term goal. You're concentrating on the things that you can control. What are the things that you can control? Your training, your posting on your business, your advertising, those things that you can control, and like celebrating those small moments, because this journey is not easy. Okay, so it has its ups and downs. So, but if you keep a journal, and you write on your journal every small celebration, that you have accomplished, when you feel down, you can go back to this journal and then read all those, and it will give you that motivation to keep going, because you say, I have accomplished all this so far. Why am I going to give up now? I need to go keep going forward. And like you mentioned, you visualize the kind of life that you want to have. So that's another thing that, like it really helps to keep you focused, and consistent and grounded, like you mentioned. And also, praying, being grateful. I think those ones are very important, to be grateful for any small thing, and many times you take those for granted, just to have like another day, a sunny day, be grateful for that. Or, like it's raining, be grateful for that. The plants needs water,
Yes.
so, but sometimes, we take for granted those little things, that we need to be grateful. So practicing gratitude every day, it really helps, to shift that mindset into a positive way. To look at things, instead of on a negative side, to a positive way. um, and praying, have that faith,
Yes.
that, everything will happen at the right moment. So for now, we just need to focus on the things that we need to do, and when it's the right time, everything will fall in. But be ready, because it's like a bunch. So, and then you say you're spending time with family. Yes, that's something that, it makes you feels good, to be able to spend that. Like, for example, you were saying spending time with your daughter, have that mother and daughter connection, bonding connection, something that, because of work, many times we don't have those connections because we don't have time. Sometimes you leave early, they are already going to school, so you don't get to see them, or when you come back they might be sleeping, so having that bonding, is very important, especially for the the growth of them, as they grow, so they build that confidence, and that, um, that they feel loved,
Yes.
that you care for them. So they need that support. And many times, when they do have their activities, they're always looking through the crowd and to see if
Yes.
their
You're sure.
family is there. And I thought it was only for kids, but I saw a Facebook video, even for older people. There was this older man that he decided to go to university, and he graduated from university, and he was looking through the crowd to see if he can see his family. So it's not only for small people, it's also for big people, so it's good to, to be able to be there for them, to show that you care for them, that you love them. because they need that comfort.
Yeah.
Um, we also have Tanisha Mackenzie Brissett for a comment. Hi, ladies. Hi, Tanisha. Thank you for your comment. And we also have Dolores Sebastian Scott. Gratitude is a must. Yes, 100% agree. Yes. Yeah, we need to implement that. And that's one of the things that we learn in this business, uh, practice gratitude, and to be able to be grateful for what we have.
Mhm. Yes.
So yeah, so thank you so much for sharing that. And we have arrived to our end of our life. So um, we hope so that our our audience will relate to you, to your story. As an immigrant, we many of us, we, like you mentioned, we come to uh, outside, we go outside of our countries to other countries like Canada, United States, or some countries in Europe or Australia to look for a better world.
Yeah.
But when we come here, we face that, it's not like we thought that it was. It's a little bit harder. Many times, you have a profession, and when you come here, you cannot do that profession because they don't recognize your education, so you have to start from zero, or do another or something else. So it's not as easy as it is, but like you mentioned, you already did that big leap of faith to moving, from Jamaica to Canada, and like many of us immigrants that move from our country to other places. Why not, take that other leap of faith to change our lives? If we know that we need a better lifestyle, and we're so blessed. I just want to mention this: we're so blessed that we have the digital era,
Yeah.
because for example our parents didn't have that, so they didn't have other choice than to work. But we do have the digital era that is available to anyone who want to take advantage of that. And because of that, a lot of people are self-made millionaire because taking advantage of the digital era. So they have more than one income streams that allows them to be able to live, like a very work life balance, and not to have to worry about the money. So it is possible. It's not a thing like in the past we thought that only rich people can become millionaires. That's the thing of the past. Now it's available to anyone who is ready to take that leap of faith and do something different that they don't they're like getting out of that comfort zone. Like in our business, we're so blessed that you need zero skills, zero knowledge, because of our training that because of the training that we have. It's tailored for anyone who has zero skill or zero knowledge, plus all the support that we get from your mentor, your coach, and the global online community. So really, and all the tools and resources. So really, it's just the willingness to do what you have to do and learn and be coachable, and you're going to be able to succeed because all the rest is given to you. So you just have to have the right mindset to be able to do it. So, and those are the things that we also work on the mindset, because many times we come to this business not with the right mindset. So
Yeah.
yeah, so we have to build it. Two of the things that I learned in this journey was mindset and patience, and both
Yes.
of both of them I thought that I had it, and this business proved me wrong. I learned those two. So thank you so much, Sushanna, for is it Sushanna or Susanna?
Sushanna.
Sushanna, okay. Thank you so much, Sushanna, for being here with us today and for sharing your story and your journey with us and with the audience. So thank you so much.
Okay. Thanks for having me too.
Thank you. Um, so if you guys are watching us from Facebook and you guys are not following us, you can follow Sushanna at Sushanna Malcolm Consulting. That's where you're gonna find her, and you can find me here up Sandy Power Lives, Sandy Caballero. Um, and then you can follow us and get to know us a little bit more, who we are and what type of content we put in our pages, and more information about this business. If you're watching us from YouTube and you haven't subscribed to our channel, you can subscribe to the channel, press that notification bell, and we you get notified when we put new content and new when we go in live. So that way you keep learning more about this online business opportunity. And when you're ready, we're going to be here to guide you along the way as mentors. So you're not going to be alone on this journey. You're going to have our support. So saying that, okay, so we do have some more comments here. Romain Could Digital, thank you for sharing. So thank you, Romain. Thank you for your comment. And we also have from Suzette Mori, great interview, ladies. Thank you, Suzette. Um, yeah, so um, if you guys want to know a little bit more about this online business opportunity that we just shared with you, we were sharing Sushanna's journey. Um, Here are three ways that you can do that. So you can either put in the comments more info, or you can send us a private message, and we will answer any questions that you have, or you can register directly into our websites that appear on the screen with your name and email address, and we'll send you that invitation to watch the webinar, which we happen to have one today. Uh, yeah, in a few minutes, 12 minutes. So it's every Tuesdays and Thursdays at 5 p.m. PST, 7 p.m. CST, and 8 p.m. EST. So when you register into our website, you will receive an email that will contain two links. The first one is to register to the live webinar. So that one will take you to a page that will have two buttons, one for Tuesday and one for Thursday. So you can register for either one or for both. The second link is the link to the replay of the live webinar. So if in case that you cannot make it to the live webinar, that's not a problem. You can always catch the replay and watch it from the comfort of your own home. In addition to that, we also invite you to our private Facebook group where you get to see more success stories from members of our community and more information about the business. Now you probably wonder, okay, so what is it that we're going to find out on the webinar? So on the webinar, you're going to find out how our online business plan works. And also you get the opportunity to hear from the panelists, which are members of our community, who will be sharing with you why they decided to start their online business and how this online business has transformed their lives. So we also have some like comments here from Katrina Burrell, Peter Yalkarin, Han MW, and we have heart emojis from Dolores, Sebastian Scott, Renee Nicole. So thank you so much for your like and heart emojis, and for watching our live today, and for all the comments that we have received. Um, so I hope so that you got inspired with Sushanna's stories today, and you decide to take that leap of faith to change your life and your family's life. So take advantage of our free live webinar that we have every Tuesdays and Thursdays. So like we mentioned, we have one today. So if you want to catch that one, you can still register for that one, and then watch it. Um, Other than that, we want to say thank you again to our guest, Sushanna, for being here with us today. And also, thank you for all the people that have watched has watched the live, and for those catching the replay. And to our followers, thank you so much for believing in us, for engaging with our content, and for being part of our journey. So we also want to say happy and blessed Thursday for those who are on Thursday, and happy and blessed Friday for those who are on Friday, and a happy and blessed weekend ahead for everyone. So thank you again for being here with us today on another episode of the Real Talk Journeys of Resilience and Success. So stay tuned for our next episode with another guest and another topic, another story. So God bless you all. Thank you for watching, and until the next episode. And thank you, Sushanna, again.
Yes, no problem. Thank you for having me.
Okay. Bye, everyone. God bless you all.